Hello, dear listeners. I am currently trying to peel my soul off the floor after writing the dinosaur series and to catch up on research for all the fun things we have coming up. So this week, in honor of April Fool's Day, we are releasing a 2024 subscribers-only episode of Hysteria Home Companion, a podcast that I make with our producer Miranda. This one is about a wildly ambitious and shockingly raucous April Fool's Day prank that took place in 19th century London, involving hundreds of people, from bakers and undertakers to bankers and politicians. If you enjoyed this episode, we just put up a new Hysteria Home Companion about the biggest hoax in the history of paleontology, in which the allegedly authentic fossils of the missing link, known as the Piltdown Man, changed the course of the theory of evolution in very unfortunate ways. Hysteria Home Companion also recently covered the longtime punk rock urban legends and lore about the Black Houses of Olympia, Washington. Before that, Sarah Marshall came on as a co-host for an episode in which we looked at several examples of satanic images that people claim have appeared in the most random of places. We've been doing Hysteria Home Companion for years, so we have a massive back catalog of all kinds of stories that we know that you'll love. This episode today has been edited for the main feed to include just the hoax story itself, but usually they also include behind-the-scenes stories, sneak previews of what's coming up, conversations about our personal lives, and a Culture Corner feature in which we talk all about the media that we've been consuming. So if you like the historical stories you get on American Hysteria, and all the rest of this sounds good to you, become a patron or Apple Plus subscriber. If you want to be part of our community and actually have conversations with me and the other subscribers, and let me tell you, it's very fun and very enlightening a lot of the time, become a patron specifically, because that's the website that allows us to actually talk back and forth. And listen, if you do love our show and you have the means, becoming a subscriber helps us ensure that we can continue making the show in an industry that has its never-ending financial challenges, many of which we continue to face as a little indie show. It also helps keep American Hysteria free for everyone, which means a lot to us. So if you want to support our show, get fun bonus content, chat with me and the community on the regular, and get ad-free episodes too, go to patreon.com/American Hysteria or subscribe on Apple Plus. Now, here's the April Fool's Day story of the Berners Street hoax. Right after this. Chelsea. Hello, Miranda.
I'm trying to bring the energy today. I feel like we've been a little bit down.
Yeah, we have. We were just singing before the recording together. We were singing Share. You want to do it?
What am I supposed to do? That was really bad. That was bad.
Stand around and wait for you.
Whoa, wait. Well, I can't do that. Oh, there's a lot of nuance in Share.
There's no turning back.
That's perfect.
Back.
Send it to print.
Great. Fucking Jesus. All right. Okay.
See, we're bringing the energy today, guys.
We're bringing the energy. We are bringing it.
Is this what you want? Patrons, I meant.
I know.
Okay.
Well, we're here to bring you a story as usual. This hoax, it's sort of like value as a cultural prank or as like something that has a deeper meaning. I'm not sure if it does, but we'll see. We'll get into that. But it's like a 90s movie, sort of like a 90s teen movie, like She's All That. But it also takes place around 1809, somewhere between 1809 and 1812 in London. So we're leaving the US, strap on your rocket helmet, and we're blasting across the Atlantic.
Well, I guess technically there is no America in Hysteria Home Companion. These stories can take place anywhere, which is why I'm going to tell you about the Emperor Elagabalus one of these days.
I can't wait. So the reason that I think that it is like She's All That is that this guy named Theodore Hook, as the story goes, I know, he was a like kind of rich playboy, practical joker, man of leisure.
Is that Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah, because the reason that he reminds me of that is that his friend and him made a bet. This man named Samuel Beasley, a bet that he could transform any house in London into the most talked about address in 1 week.
That's Rachel Weisz.
Yes, exactly. That is
the house. Right? Rachel Weisz?
Yeah. No, it's not Rachel Weisz. No, wrong. It is.
Am I just imagining the cover of Josie and the Pussycats and that's why?
Yeah. And Rachel Weisz is also not in Josie and the Pussycats. Rachel Weisz is from The Mummy.
I know, but she's not only in The Mummy.
She's not only in The Mummy, but she is not. You're thinking of Rachel Lee Cook.
Okay. Rachel Weisz Cook.
Rachel Weisz is the first woman that made me realize I might be gay when she was in The Mummy 2, fighting a woman with these little swords, and they fought. And I watched it on VHS and rewound it and watched it again. And that's the wrong girl.
Beautiful.
We're talking about...
The house is Rachel Lee Cook.
The house is Rachel Lee Cook.
Okay.
And if you remember the plot of She's All That, he's bet that he can turn basically like the ugliest girl in school into a prom queen in,
He can take off her glasses.
Yeah. And get those paint splattered overalls out of here. And he does. But it all ends okay. So, all right. How does this go down?
How does it go down?
Well, he decides to take this bet on. And what he does is he sends out a shit ton of these letters calling upon different types of people to go to 54 Berners Street. All right, where a person named Mrs. Tottenham or Mrs. Tottenham, depending on who you ask, was, she was kind of a society woman, but no one famous, just kind of like lived among rich people.
An it girl?
Yeah, kind of an it girl, but I think kind of like an it old lady.
An it old lady. Got it.
An it elder.
An it dame.
An it dame. But again, it wasn't like she was that. She was not like a known person. So there's been debate over the years about like why exactly he selected her for this hoax. And before I continue, actually, I would like to send you in our Zoom chat a picture of Theodore Hook, and I would like to get your thoughts. How do I mess it? I've been using Zoom my entire life, and I still don't know how to send you something. Okay.
Wow.
What do we think? What do you see?
Baby lips Johnson. Little curly Q hair. Really looks like that hair took a long time to style. A lot of time at the barber shop. His scarf looks like whipped cream. A lot of smooth edges. It's an illustration.
Yeah.
Because I assume cameras were not readily available at this point in time.
No. I'm like saying he's a little bit non-binary coded.
Sure.
They are a little bit, I don't know. We don't know.
He looks like a little cake.
Oh, a little cake.
That's my final answer.
Okay, a little cake.
My assessment.
Kind of hot. I'm going to say kind of hot.
Really, really baby-faced.
Really baby-faced, but not a baby.
How old was this man? Do you know?
I don't know. I have no idea how old he was when this happened. This is just the Wikipedia picture of him.
Okay. Do you have a picture of it Dame Tottenham?
No. she's just like sort of this mysterious figure. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit more as we go along here. But I just wanted everyone to kind of get a picture of our pranker, our hoaxster.
So just imagine a little cake.
Yeah, just a little mischievous little cake. A mischievous little non-binary cake. Okay, so in order to make this the most talked about address in just a week's time in all of London, he sent out, of course, the numbers vary. Newspapers and historians and storytellers say it was somewhere between 1,000 and 4,000 letters. All right.
Oh my God.
That were allegedly sent, according to the signature on each of these from Mrs. Tottingham.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh.
And the letters were printed in London newspapers. I don't know if these are just facsimiles or what I don't know how they got the letters, but this is sort of how these letters were sent out. So it would say, Mrs. Tottingham requests Mr. Blank will call upon her at 2 tomorrow as she wishes to consult him about the state of an estate. 54 Berners Street, Monday. And then another one. And it was just going out to all of these different kinds of people requesting that they show up at her house at 2:00 at 54 Berners Street. So if you will oblige me, I'm going to read you a newspaper article that will do a better job of setting the stage of what this looked like and what happened this fateful day.
Please.
And this is actually from, I think, about 1914. So this wasn't a contemporary account. So we're looking at a story that does have plenty of evidence that it really happened, but we don't know the actual specifics necessarily because it kind of reached this legendary status. But anyway, this is from a London newspaper. The biggest April Fool hoax. Which is funny because other sources say it happened in November. The most famous hoax was that of Berners Street. Theodore Hook was the perpetrator. The woman victim of this hoax awoke one morning to find her hallway filled with 4,000 letters. Some of these letters offered to sell her a cat, others offered a horse, others a dog, and so on. While she was reading a few of the letters, the bell rang, and in came a chimney sweep with 6 boy helpers. She tried to tell the men her chimneys needed no attention, and then there was another ring at the bell, and another detachment of sweeps crowded in. In fact, from 9 till 10 o'clock that morning, no less than 100 chimney sweeps arrived with all their apparatus. At 10 sharp, coal wagons began to come. Up Berners Street and down Berners Street they came, blocking one another, locking wheels, all making for the same one house. From 10 to 11, Berners Street was a pandemonium of great coal wagons. Then came cooks in white with wedding cakes borne aloft, a regiment of cooks in spotless white, each smiling proudly, each holding high a superb wedding cake that had been ordered for the Berners Street woman. While the cooks were wrangling, a multitude of tailors came with tape and camples. They had been ordered to take a gentleman's measure for 7 suits. Then came a horde of undertakers who had been notified that there had been a death. Doctors, lawyers, clergymen, grocers, painters, masons came to the Berners Street house, and finally, scattering the crowd, came a fire engine and a corps of firemen, for the ingenious crook had even hoaxed the fire department. The Berners Street hoax is believed to be the most elaborate one that has ever been played on April 1st.
So he just sent letters.
Yeah, he just sent so many. I mean, thousands is hard for me to believe.
God, hoaxes were easy
Yeah.
in 1809. Come on.
They sure were. But even more than that, like the story includes like a bunch of dignitaries that he got to show up, like the governor of the Bank of England, the Duke of York, the Archbishop of Canterbury, the Lord Mayor of London, and like people with deliveries too, like a bunch of just different shit, like so much stuff. And they like also, this created a gigantic crowd, of course, with all of these people parading in and out of this house and all the sounds of all these people and all, the fire engines and eventually the police. It was like total pandemonium.
Yeah, I love how this newspaper was like, there are all of these dukes and duchesses, and they're like, even the fire department was tricked.
I know.
How did he do it?
So as the crowd gathered, right, the cops came in and tried to disperse this almost riotous event that everybody was like trying to get a look at, like what could possibly be happening at 54 Berners Street. And the cops ended up sealing up each side of the street so that no more people could get in, which then furthered the interest of like, why are the cops blocking this street? And that's when they kind of set out to find the perpetrator of this, like, very, very expensive prank, right?
Yes.
Like, think of how much money was involved in getting not his money.
No.
Because I think it was just like, the idea was like payment on arrival.
Right. Which is where that stopped forever.
Yeah, right.
That's when Uber Eats was invented.
Although you can still order pizzas to people's house.
That's true.
Isn't that something people still do where they're like, if they're like being horrible?
I don't think so. I think that you have to kind of pay by credit card now.
Well, when I was a pizza boy,
yes, back
in like 2015, I could take cash.
That was a long time ago.
I know. It's true. It's true. That was like pre-apps. I mean, there were apps, but not like this.
Yeah. I mean, and it's unfortunate because I know people like to use cash, but it does solve the doxing problem.
It does. It does. And this almost does feel like, to me,
a dox,
right?
An early London dox.
Or like a SWAT, like when they call the SWAT team and they show up to your house and like think there's like whatever SWAT teams are looking for.
Yeah, it is like that, but with cakes and undertakers.
Yeah. So like a cuter version, but still one that, really puts out apparently 1,000 or more people.
Well, and poor Mrs. Tottingham, where is she in all this?
Never nary a word from Mrs. Tottingham in anything I could find. Like, we don't even know if it's Tottingham or Tottenham. Like, that's how little we know about the victim, the random victim.
And she just never came out of the house, presumably?
Well, here's the thing is like, she was rich. So she wasn't the one answering the door. It was like her servants, or whatever, were the ones coming to the door and dealing with all of this. So poor them as well. It's like, I think Tottingham was probably just like upstairs, like on the fainting couch, fully
in the bath,
unconscious, or in the bath eating bonbons and and sweating it. So it in the bet, basically. Again, these are, as the story goes, was for 1 guinea, which is the equivalent to...
The fuck is a guinea?
I don't know, but I did look it up, and it's about $110 today.
Oh, it's an amount of money.
It's an amount of money, not a guinea pig. Can you imagine if it was like...
Well, I'm just making sure.
And he was like, I gotta get that guinea pig. I gotta get that gerbil with a quaff. It's what I think of as a guinea pig.
He's a fancy boy.
He is a fancy boy for a fancy boy.
He needs coiffed rodents.
Yeah, a fancy coiffed rodent for a fancy coiffed playboy.
That's right. So how does this resolve? Did they I guess they found the cakeman.
Disco dancing, Oscar Wilde reading, Streisand ticket holding friend of Dorothy. That's a Clueless quote, everyone.
Yeah.
So the cops offered a reward for the, quote, apprehension of the criminal hoax.
Was it a guinea?
3 guinea pigs and a whole plastic tunnel system to stretch across your entire living room. Remember those?
Yes.
Those were, I don't know.
I didn't know where you were going with the plastic tunnel system, and then it connected. I got it now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of those. I find it all sort of distasteful.
You find keeping rodents distasteful?
No, a rodent tunnel system where I'm
sure.
Watching them. I mean, I want them to have a tunnel system, but I would like it to be in someone else's house. I'd go look at the tunnel system. I think it'd be really interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so
write in with a self-addressed stamped postcard if you have a guinea pig tunnel system that Chelsea can come look at, but
send us pictures of your rodent tunnels.
02134.
02134. Send it to us. So, okay, so basically, cops couldn't find him, never really figured it out. He eventually admitted it in like his writing. So nobody found him.
On his deathbed?
So, yeah. Well, no, he was like, I think he was pretty cocky. So he was talking about it.
He could have just taken credit for it then.
Yeah, but I think he was waiting for the fervor to die down so that he could not.
Yeah, but he could have just taken credit for it. It could have been anybody. It could have been Mrs. Tottenham herself.
It could have been. She could have been a double hoax.
Double hoax. That's it girl behavior.
That is it girl it dame behavior. Really is. Yeah. Self-created buzz.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's go with that. More after this. And now, back to the show. So, after this happened, it kind of sparked a few copycat events.
Oh my God.
One of them happened in, let's see. This is reported. I'll just read this. Another one happened in Edinburgh in December of 1810. And this was like
You gotta learn to pronounce that word before we go there.
Edinburgh.
Yeah, there you go.
Edinburgh.
I mean, I'm no expert, but I know it's not borough.
Fuck me. Edinburgh? Say it.
Edinburgh, I think.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
So Edinburgh witnessed a very similar hoax, and this is according to the Morning Post. And this report actually came out a few days after the event took place. So we can know that it's like a little more accurate and hasn't, gone through the legend machine quite as hard. So
I wish we had a legend machine.
It's me, babe. Okay, so this is a direct quote. A singular hoax was practiced on Tuesday. Cards were put into the post office addressed to medical gentlemen, undertakers, upholsterers, grocers, confectioners, haberdashers, milliners, mantua makers, wig makers, etc., desiring their attendance at a gentleman's house a few miles from Edinburgh, and requesting them to send a hearse and mourning coaches for a funeral, and others sent out quantities of wine, grocery articles, etc. As a consequence of this, the road was crowded with carriages, coaches, a hearse, and 12 mourning coaches. And that's like when you mourn the dead. Yeah. After their arrival at the house, to their utter astonishment, they found the whole thing to be a hoax of some silly, malicious wag.
That's our girl.
So that's our girl. It wasn't our girl. It was. Well, this is like what happens when an it boy creates a trend, right? So this is like wannabes modeling their behavior. I mean, he was also a bit of an it girl, the hoaxster.
Sure. Yeah. Theodore Hook?
Yes.
That's an it girl name.
Yeah.
That's actually what I'm going to go by when I am an it girl.
Oh, great. Yeah, perfect. So this one took place in London around, this says the 14th of March, 1810. So these dates are all over the place. But this was, again, a contemporary report, which then I think lends credence to the Berners Street hoax being this, fantastical, because there are these copycats and it's referenced in a lot of plays and stuff. We'll get to that. So this is the one from London in 1810. Hoax. Physicians, surgeons, and apothecaries, jewelers, auctioneers, governesses, poulterers, pastry cooks, and undertakers, I really like that one, etc., have for the last 4 days besieged the house of Mr. Hookham, 15 Old Bond Street, in consequence of 2-penny and 3-penny post letters containing appointments, orders, etc.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we think that's a coincidence that it's Hookham or maybe Hookham? I guess it's just a coincidence. Hookham?
Hookham?
That's it.
Hookham?
That's Stephen King's miniseries hit.
Yeah, that's an it. That's where we're riffing. So I don't know. He could have been. We don't have enough information.
We don't.
Time gobbles up all our favorite stories.
That's true. That's why you're here.
To fucking vomit.
Oh, no. To crawl into the gaping maw of time.
And make it throw up.
And extract the stories that we have lost into his belly.
Yeah.
Time's not a man. All right.
No, time is not a man. Time is a non-binary cake boy. Boy being a gender neutral term, of course. So this one happened near Hyde Park in London. And this was the next year in 1811, according to the Suffolk Chronicle.
Okay.
On Sunday night, every confectioner in the metropolis from Whitechapel to Hyde Park, including the adjacent streets to the amount of near 100, sent 12th cakes of various dimensions.
It's cakes.
It's cakes.
It's Cakes and Undertakers.
Cakes and Undertakers is a great band name, or maybe an album name.
Yeah.
But anyway. None less than 20 pounds weight to Mr. E.I. Samuel, West Indian merchant, Great Prescott Street, Goodman's Fields. I don't know what that sentence means. Circular letters having been sent to the different shops with the orders, stating that Mr. S. was recommended by an eminent city baronet. I don't know what any of this shit is. The whole of the gentleman's friends were invited, most of whom did themselves the honor to accept the invitation, to the no small amusement of the authors, who it is suspected attended as if invited. So it sounds like the hoaxsters went to this party that they invented, which is very it girl behavior.
That's right.
On Tuesday, circular letters were also sent to about 100 grocers, in consequence of which, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., the neighborhood was amused with the arrival of parcels of tea and sugar, about 30 pounds in weight each. And on Wednesday arrived, by the same plan, about 100 fine, large Cheshire cheeses, which cut a curious appearance from their uniformity, and some 8 to 10 meetings at the door at one time.
Each time this hoax is being copycatted, they're refining the party. Because the first one is just like firemen and undertakers, and then some cakes and lords and ladies. And then the next one is like cakes and also this other weird thing. But my point is, this last one that you have just described is a party.
It is.
They threw a party. It's just cake and cheese. And what were the other things? God, I'm really bad at these lists right now.
No, it was, let's see.
Everything you named was an element of a party.
Yeah, it was mostly cakes and cheese, which is sort of the heart of any party.
Right.
But I didn't hear any about the alcohol, Where's that?
Oh, the tea. They had tea too. Tea and sugar.
Maybe it was mushroom tea. Ooh, crazy party.
No, that was on Berners Street.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow, that was really good. And
Thanks.
It took me a second, but that was really good. So this original hoax, the Berners Street hoax, some people, historians, skeptics, have claimed that it may not have happened at all.
I believe that.
Or that it was some kind of like double hoax, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, War of the Worlds, right? We hear that War of the Worlds, that the radio broadcast by Orson Welles that presented as if aliens were really attacking America. But it was, of course, a radio play hoax that people just kind of misunderstood. And the story went that there was this huge panic that it was true, when really there were just like a few people who went pretty nuts. And there was, like 100 people or something that called in being like, is this real?
Right.
But then the hoax almost became that there was a panic. So it was this hoax on hoax, right?
Right. And then the triple hoax was that there actually was a massive alien attack.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And reality ripped in half.
And those were the Berenstain Bears.
But I kind of think that you can think of Orson Welles as an it girl as well.
Absolutely.
In this case. Yeah. It was it girl behavior.
I was going to say the same thing.
Wow, babe. But the most comprehensive thing that I could find about this was by someone who has a website called hoaxes.org, which is great. I don't know what their credentials are, but they seem to be, very thorough in what they do. So check that website out. It's pretty fun.
The .org is enough credential for me.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, he believes that it was, pretty similar to what I read to you. It's like not that different. Like, okay, so like he says one sign of the hoax's notoriety is that by 1811, references to it were being incorporated into London stage productions. For instance, a review of a play performed at the Lyceum Theatre in early 1811 includes this line, quote, "A spirited epilogue was spoken by Mrs. Edwin, in which an allusion to the late hoax in Berners Street was highly relished by the audience." And that's just one of several different references to it in popular culture of the time. I mean, that was only 1 year at most later.
Right. So it's a hoax whether it happened or not.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's totally true. Yeah, that's, you totally got it.
My grand revelation has broken Chelsea's brain.
But like even in 1811, a newspaper declared it to be the greatest hoax that has ever been heard of in this metropolis.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. London.
Big time. But I think another thing that was interesting about this was that the city of London at this time was growing at a really fast rate, right? Like this was kind of not the beginning, but this was the time when the Industrial Revolution had turned so many people from farmers into city dwellers, which meant that rich people were dwelling in cities and,
Chelsea, in with the cultural context.
This is again, I believe, from our hoaxes.org.
Hoaxes.org with the cultural context.
Yeah. And I'm just here to repeat it.
That's all a podcast is, really.
It really is. And so it was like, for the first time, you were just among strangers and you were among so many different kinds of people jammed into one place that you could actually pull off a hoax like that. And what that hoax did was really show people in this like highly dramatized way the amount of stuff, like the amount of resources and like cakes, I guess, and undertakers and all these things that were like at your beck and call suddenly living in this city, which was just like this double spectacle of just like what we've talked about, but then also the spectacle of like this even being possible to see, let alone all these types of people and merchants and people of various jobs and disciplines, whatever, and various statuses, very rich dukes showing the fuck up, and I think it just like showed this kind of chaos that could happen in a city that just wasn't possible anywhere else, and including like a traffic jam, right? Like all of these buggies and hearses and whatever, just jamming up the streets. It was a wild spectacle. And it has been put forth that perhaps it was a kind of social commentary, that the Berners Street hoax had some kind of like Alan Abelian satirical purpose. It's claimed that even more dignitaries showed up to this hoax than has been written about, including who I mentioned, the Lord Mayor of London, and that Theodore Hook's actual intention was to sort of embarrass all these rich people. But it says here, by hinting at the possible revelation of scandalous information.
Yeah, right.
So I'm a little confused about that.
Because we don't know what the letters said beyond that example that you gave me that was just very short and vague. I guess that's sometimes all you need.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way you talk about just putting a note in someone's mailbox that says, I know what you did. Sometimes that's all you need to hoax a lord into showing up at a house so that you can win a guinea.
Yeah, 100%.
That's it girl behavior.
It says certain revelations to be made respecting a complicated system of fraud pursued at the Bank of England brought the governor of that establishment. A similar device was employed to allure the chairman of the East India Company, while the Duke of Gloucestershire started off with query, which I guess is like a query maybe, to receive a communication from a dying woman, formerly a confidential attendant on His Royal Highness's mother. So yeah, it sounds like people were just getting like vague letters that were like, bring $10,000 and put it in the hole of this oak tree. And I won't tell your secret. We were just watching a lot of Pretty Little Liars. So anyway.
It sounds like Theodore Hook had maybe some inside information potentially.
Either that or he just like was smart enough to deduce what these people were probably doing. Like, like the banker is probably committing fraud. I wish I could see all these like mildly threatening letters that I'm sure were like very cloaked in niceties and fancy language, but we're really like, you better come here or I'm going to tell the gossip rags.
Yeah.
And it did say that Theodore Hook was a person who knew quite a bit of London gossip because he was a man of leisure. He was a playboy. He was an it girl about town.
Yes.
Just cannibalizing rumors and then using them to create London's biggest hoax of that century, I guess. I don't know. That's a big thing to say, but I'm going to go with it.
I like that you said cannibalizing rumors just now because technically speaking, this character himself is a rumor.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Poetry.
Yes.
There's that poetry degree.
He was a real person for sure, though.
Well, he was a real person, but he was also a rumor.
He was, which is all we can hope for when we die.
Right.
So yeah, there is evidence that he was sitting across the street with his friend who he had bet and just watching the whole thing unfold, which I like to imagine.
Yeah.
Them just like with little binoculars being like, oh, can you believe it? Oof.
Their little pince nez.
Yeah. Pince nez. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So that is the story of the Berners Street hoax.
I love that. Thank you for that story.
Yeah. And look at that. Right on time.
Beautiful. And with that, we close our hoax door for now. I think there will be more hoaxes on this show, this family of shows in the future. Oh, yeah. I got a whole list going of different hoaxes that we're going to eventually do on the show. So love it.
I love a hoax. I love it. Unless it's bad.
Yes.
And it is horrible propaganda.
Yes.
But if it's again, I like that idea, not to quote myself, but I like the idea that like a hoax is powerful in the hands of the people, but it's dangerous in the hands of the powerful. And I think even though we've got a rich boy alert here with Theodore Hook, he didn't have a ton of institutional power, and this wasn't done to sort of advance any kind of political agenda. So I think we can call it Okay. Although I am hesitant because I feel like he put so many people out and cost people a lot of money who were probably just cake makers and merchants and grocers and undertakers.
Absolutely. It's not great, but they are all dead now. So
they are. And he is definitely one of those guys who probably doesn't give a fuck about other people, obviously.
Yeah.
So. I'm sorry I've said so many F-bombs in this episode.
Oh, I think I have too.
I know. I've been dropping them. But who cares?
Who cares? It's Patreon, baby.
Yeah.
And Apple Plus. Hi, Apple Plus.
Hey, guys. Hey, ladies and germs. We will talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. This was Hysteria Home Companion. If you enjoyed this special subscribers-only episode, you can become a subscriber yourself by going to patreon.com/American Hysteria or by subscribing on Apple Plus. As I mentioned in the intro, we have a huge back catalog of stories just like this that we know that you'll love. You'll also be helping to make sure that we can continue to create American Hysteria in an industry that can be really challenging for indie shows like ours. We can always use the help of our wonderful audience, and remember, you'll also be helping to keep American Hysteria free for everyone. So again, for bonus content and ad-free episodes, go to patreon.com/American Hysteria or subscribe on Apple Plus. If you want to become a part of our little community and actually have conversations with me and the other subscribers, choose Patreon because that's the website that supports us doing that. I also want to thank our truly lovely current patrons and Apple Plus subscribers for all of your support, all of your comments, all of the fun that we have over there. It really brings me a lot of joy. And of course, we really appreciate the fact that you're helping us every day to make this show. Hysteria Home Companion is produced, edited, and co-hosted by Miranda Zickler, with additional editing by Kaylee Jasperson. And of course, I'm your other co-host, Chelsea Weber-Smith. Thanks as always for listening, and we hope you have a great week.